it's Tanner with Built Not Bought, and I just got home to a giant package sitting in the front yard from Powersmart. They sent me over a snowblower to test out and get my review on, and we just got dumped on with snow up here in North Dakota, so we're gonna open this thing up, assemble it, and put it to the test. All right, so it looks like there's a little assembly required. Let's pull this all out and find the instructions. All right, so I got everything out of the box, and this is what comes with it. You have the main snowblower unit itself, 2 wheels and tires. This looks like the handle over here. We've got our auger, and then our whole control panel here. 1 bag of hardware. There were some loose nuts and bolts in the bottom of the box, so I'm hoping that I have everything here. And then these are your cranks to adjust, I believe, the auger angle and tilt. So the very first thing we're going to do is it comes with 4 bolts, 2 on each side of the snowblower itself. We're going to unbolt those, and we're going to use those to install this handle right here. These bolts are attached with a size 12. It's a metric bolt. So I just hooked up my ratchet here, and I'm going to snug all those down here quick. The next step is to install the tires. They come with this little pin, and make sure your valve stem is facing out in case you ever have to add air to it. And this just slides right on. And I believe there's a hole, there we go, right there, that pin drops in through. After the tires are installed, you take the entire control unit, which comes as one big piece and attaches to this bar we just put on here. And you attach it with 4 carriage bolts. It says you're supposed to have a saddle washer. Mine didn't come with any, but these are lock nuts, so I'm not too concerned about it. And then just make sure you shove the carrot bolt from the inside out because there's that little square cut out here, and then tighten it down. And these are a size 13 nut on there. So I'll get this last one tightened down quick, and then we will be ready for the next step. One thing to make sure of is that you have these linkages connected from your cables up above before you install these bolts. They're supposed to be connected from factory, but through shipping or whatever, they can easily fall out. You won't be able to get them on with these bolts in place, so you'll have to loosen these like I just had to, and then you can get both those linkages connected, and you can just test out your levers. They should be spring loaded now, whereas before they were just sitting flat. Up next, we got to install the throttle and crank rods here. So the first step is to grab this one that doesn't have the red handle on it, and it has this end here, which installs right there. Just like so. So once you get the speed control connection rod pressed into this bracket at the bottom, you just feed it up to the top, and there's a bracket right here that's already there for you, and it just has a pin and a key here that keeps it in place. And that's all with our shifting here. So the next step is dropping this chute assembly into place. So this is all one piece, the square tubing over to our chute, and then there's just 2 holes. So you drop this piece right into this piece, which is connected to the frame, and then there's just 2 bolts that we'll use to fasten that into place. With the chute in place, we can now install the chute handle, and this just slides right into this plastic bracket here, straight over into the chute itself. So you can pull that pin out and then line this up and get that hole lined up to drop the pin back in on. And the last thing to install is these skid shoes. They come with the carriage bolts and nuts already attached. Make sure the little lip is facing on the outside and not tucked underneath the machine. Make sure this lip is facing outside. It comes with these 2 carriage bolts, and you can adjust how high up or down you want these skid plates to be. I just have mine resting as it would normal rest and these sitting on the ground, assuming that that'll allow me to cut as close to the concrete as possible when blowing snow. All right, guys, I've got the snowblower fully assembled and ready to go. One last thing, and probably the most important thing, they don't ship this with any gas or oil in it. They do ship it with a bottle of oil. Make sure you add the oil before you try and start it up to prevent any damage to that engine. Here's just a quick walk around of this unit. It's a 26-inch snowblower with a 212cc engine on it. All these components underneath here are metal, not plastic, and they're independent of each other, which is kind of nice. So if one of these gets bent or broken, you can just replace that one unit instead of this whole piece. Inside here is where it gets shoved up through the snow chute, which is adjusted with this hand crank right here. Right here we have our transmission lever. So right now in this forward spot, you can actually roll it. The wheels aren't locked. And then that connected down here as I showed you before. And as you shift this up or down, you'll notice that moving as well. So if this is not moving this way, your linkage is not quite hooked up correctly. Here we have our light switch. There's a little LED light built in, which is super nice because I'm about to go test it out and it's getting a little dark. It's a pull start, but they claim that you can also electric start it if you plug it into an extension cord or an outlet and then press this button. We'll see how that works later on. I gotta say, I am impressed with this snowblower. I just blew out our driveway and an entire path out to our wood shop. I'll have to show you in the morning because it's a little too dark. But I ran that thing hard through snow, ice, and gravel. Let me guess what those two are doing in the background. Anyways, unfazed. It handled it all really well. I'm interested to see how it holds up throughout the entire winter. Now, as winter rolls on up here in North Dakota, we're going to have a ton more snow to move, so I can give some updates on it to see how it handles higher volumes. This was kind of the first snow of the year, but I'm pretty impressed with it so far. Well, shortly after that video, North Dakota got hit with a nasty 4-day blizzard that shut down the entire state. There was 0 travel advised for those 4 days. All activities, all school activities, etc. were canceled. And we got 26 inches of snow in total, and it was wet, heavy snow. And every morning I would go out and there would be close to 8 to 10 inches of snow or more that I'd have to blow out with this snowblower. So I worked it as hard as I possibly could over the course of those 4 days. I had to refill it with fuel 5 separate times to give you an idea of how hard I was running it. And I had 0 issues with it. Absolutely nothing went wrong. It handled everything like an absolute champ. In some of these videos, you'll see me blowing through a foot or more of snow. And like I said earlier, it's the wet, heavy snow, and it's launching it no problem. I didn't get a tape measure out to measure how far it was launching it, but at one point I know for sure that it was pushing that snow out at least 30 feet. I was hitting my barn as I was driving down the gravel road. So I was super impressed with how far it was shooting the snow away from the driveway to get it out of our way. And like I said earlier, I don't know how I could have pushed it any harder, and it handled it like a champ. One feature on the snowblower that really came in clutch is that it's self-propelled, which means it drives on its own. So when you pull down the left handle, the wheels start to turn. So when you're going through this big, heavy piles of snow and drifts, it's super handy. You're not sitting there pushing the weight of the snowblower plus the weight of the snow. It just drives itself right through, which is an awesome feature. One negative, if you want to call it that I wish this machine had was hand warmers. It's super cold up here in North Dakota. And after a half hour or so of snow blowing, your hands start to get really cold. So that'd be a cool feature that they could maybe add on to their future models. This snowblower came at the most perfect time possible. I couldn't imagine having to shovel all of this snow by hand in front of my driveway and sidewalk and then all the way out to my wood shop and back. So I'm super thankful and grateful that Powersmart sent me this to give it a test run. And like I've said a couple times throughout this video, it really handled everything I threw at it, and I'm super impressed with it overall. Guys, we're in a winter wonderland here up in North Dakota. A huge shout out to Powersmart for sending us over that snowblower to test out. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. We put it through the ringer with all this wet, heavy snow, and it did a really nice job. Thanks a ton for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.